Spurs Debate TV brings you the post-match analysis of Chelsea versus Tottenham. It is half-time in the leg. Chelsea do go to the Tottenham Stadium on Wednesday, but let's see the main highlights of the goals, chances, where Tottenham need to improve, where we went wrong, and also look at the FA Cup tie against Morecambe. So let's start with the journey to the semi-final. We beat Burnley away 1-0 to set up a tie with West Ham. We beat West Ham 2-1 just about, which set up this semi-final. And you can see in the first leg, obviously we're 2-0 down with another game to go. Liverpool and Arsenal to play it out for that final spot. Now, Conte went with a 3-4-3, and for me, Højbjerg was the man of the match, although there weren't really any special performances on the day. Tanganga was very poor, Sanchez was poor, Emerson was poor, and Doherty was pulled off at halftime. Again, very poor. Conte having to mix it up to get the result. 2-0, Ben Davies own goal, and you can see here Spurs making a lot of changes in the second half. First and foremost, Tottenham went into a 4-4-2 with Emerson coming back in as a right back, and then Tanguy coming in as a midfielder to make that 4 across the middle. Harry Winks came in for Skip, Lo Celso for Heung-min Son, who is injured, and Brian Hill for Lucas Moura. The second half was better from Tottenham, and the changes Conte made did have a good impact. You can see at the first half on the left is all green, all Chelsea. Tottenham with very few attempts, if anything, just a few passes, but very flat, not winning the first balls, not in there, no aggression, and Chelsea really just had it all to themselves. The second half, you can see Tottenham bringing something to the party. Now, the formations were interesting. The 4-3-3 in the first half, we only had 31% ball possession. We had no shots on target, off target. We had no shots inside the box, outside the box, and we created 0 chances. Chelsea, on the other hand, absolutely dominating with goals, shots, and attempts. In the first half, you can see here passing. Tottenham with very little usage of the ball, only 161 passes. Our accuracy was only 75%, Chelsea was 91%, so our accurate passing was lower than theirs, and you can see Chelsea intercepting and tackling better than Spurs. In the second half, we improved a little bit on the first half. We had 2 shots on target, 3 shots off target, but we really didn't create any big chances. On the other hand, Chelsea were creating chances and could have taken this game 4-0 or 5-0. Spurs did pass better in the second half with 219 passes, however still outpassed by Chelsea. The quality of passing improved from Tottenham, the long balls and crosses improved, and we did have a couple of dribbles. However, Chelsea kept tackling and intercepting, and Tottenham, every time they tried to get into a rhythm, Chelsea would cut them out. The aggression from Pierre was great to see. He was getting involved where possible. Unfortunately, there weren't many man of the match performances, but I thought Pierre was probably one of the better players. You can see here compared to Ollie Skip, his touches, passing, his long balls, his dribbles, and his duels all being good compared to the rest. Spurs here, you can see the match was played in all 3 areas of the park, mainly in the first half in Tottenham's area, but the second half we balanced it. Chelsea down the left were very powerful, and that's where the goal came from. Spurs down the left with Matt Doherty had very little to show and no real attacks down that side. Hugo Lloris did say after the game the aggression was missing. He said, "We started the game and allowed Chelsea to believe, and therefore they put us in trouble. When you show lack of aggressiveness on the pitch at some point in the game, it will cost you." And for sure it did. It cost us the first half and 2 goals. Conte did come out and say there's a huge gap between the level of Chelsea and Tottenham. He said we are making a lot of silly mistakes. The mentality needs to improve, stupid passes and balls. And we'll look at all of this in the next few minutes. He wants the fans to be patient, but he did say the match is big. The gap is big and clear. He did also come out the following day and say Tanguy is improving, and maybe he's one that he can improve like he has done with Eric Dyer, Ben Davies and co. So the first goal, 1-0 Chelsea. You can hear Japhet Tanganga, one of his rare starts under Conte, a bit nervous. The pass out to Emerson is weak. He could have gone long ball or back to Lloris, but he chose to go down the right to Emerson, which is fine. Unfortunately, the pass was too straight and wasn't quick enough. You can see here Alonso on the right is running in, closing down on Emerson. Emerson has no idea. That pass into him is down the red line, but it should have been the blue line, which would have given Emerson time to either put it out for a throw-in or hoof it up the pitch or back to Lloris. But Tanganga's pass was poor. Alonso wins the ball and his momentum takes him into and past Emerson and into Tottenham's final third. Here you've got Tanganga marking Kai Havertz, the eventual goal scorer. Tanganga should really stay goal side and close to Havertz, but he decides to get stuck and almost in two minds. He tries to cut the cross or the through ball here, and that allows Havertz to run in behind him, and the pace is too much. He's behind Tanganga and gone. Skip trying to cover up, but he also has his man and Emerson late in getting back. Complete mess from Tottenham here, but Tanganga really in no man's land. And you can see here Tanganga is out of position. If he tackles him, it's a penalty. Havertz has a shot on goal. Lloris is very close to his near post. Maybe he could have been more central. The ball eventually goes in off Sanchez into the net, and you can see there Mason Mount and Lukaku waiting to tap in any rebounds. Spurs really poor for that goal, and it continued in the first half. The defending was awful. You can see here Tottenham player here clearing the ball into Ollie Skip. Not sure who that is. It may be Pierre, and it ricochets from Skip into the path of Kai Havertz, who could have made it 2-0. Spurs panicking, lacking composure, lacking confidence and belief. And here you can see Havertz with a shot on goal. If he goes to Hugo's left, that could have been 2-0, but he goes near post and the shot is saved. You can see three Tottenham defenders there, all out of position, no one near the ball, and that really could have been more damaging. And this was damaging. Sanchez here swipes at the ball, misses it and takes out Lukaku. This then is a set piece which comes in as a cross. I was behind this tackle and Sanchez completely lost his head and swiped Lukaku. He probably didn't mean it. He thought he was going to get the ball. The cross came in, and once the cross came in, Tanganga, who has nobody around him, does get a strong head on it, but unfortunately for Davis, it hits him and goes in as an own goal. Not much Davis can do, but Tanganga there, unfortunately, headering into his colleague, and not much Hugo Lloris could do. That's 2-0 Chelsea. And we can see here poor defending and marking from Tottenham. We're not tight enough to. Here you've got Ziyech with the ball at feet. You can see here Lukaku has a good gap against Sanchez to run into and head, and nobody closing down Ziyech. He eventually gets in a perfect cross into Lukaku on his head. Lukaku makes the jump and run. He has that gap behind Sanchez. No chance Hugo, no chance Sanchez, and Spurs were lucky to survive. The scoreline remained 2-0, but this really could have been curtains, and this could have been the tie done. Let's have a look at the next phase of this game. Here you can see Werner with a one-on-one on Hugo Lloris. Tanganga too far from Werner, not reading or anticipating. Sanchez on his own. Ben Davies trying to mark Lukaku, not tight enough. Lukaku into Ziyech. In Ziyech you can see has all the time and space in the world. Tottenham defenders, no marking, not close enough. Pierre there should be running in, closing down Ziyech, although he probably wouldn't have got to him. And you can see a Skip not close enough to Werner, and Tanganga completely out of position. Werner goes on one-on-one into Hugo Lloris, tries to chip him, and Hugo Lloris with a fantastic save to keep it 2-0. Werner again causing problems. This was a long shot from outside the box, but he did dribble in. Nobody closed him down as he dribbled in. All the Tottenham players waiting and waiting. No one taking the situation on with any aggression. Pierre, Emerson, Skip and Tanganga all waiting and praying, and this just went past the post. Otherwise that would have been 3-0. Tanguy was a positive impact on the game in the second half. Here you can see him dribbling at the Chelsea defence. Doesn't have much on Harry Kane to his left, but he decides to take on the Chelsea defender and gets a fantastic shot which goes just over the bar. But great to see Tanguy going at the Chelsea defenders. We need more dribbling and passing, and this was a good move from Tottenham. Son to Pierre to Tanguy, completely taking out 3 Chelsea players. Tanguy then on goal with Harry Kane to his left, Ben Davies coming down the left here. This was great to see from Tottenham. The tempo was better, the passing was better and more accurate, as we saw earlier in the stats. And here Tanguy having an attempt to run at the Chelsea defenders, which is where you want him. One of the best dribblers in the Tottenham team. He gets pushed over and shoved and goes to ground, and from here it's a free kick to Harry Kane. A very good Harry Kane free kick. He does work the keeper there, Kepa, making a save to his right. A very good save, pushing the ball out, but you can see there Pierre doing his job well, running in for a tap-in, and Heung-min Son also running in for a tap-in. Tottenham really did try to pass better, and they did in the second half. They created a couple of opportunities, and this was one of them. Here you can see there's a cross coming from Emerson. Great to see Emerson actually finding his man with this cross. His fellow countryman Lucas Moura with a volley. This one went over the bar, but again, good to see Spurs having men in the box. You've got 5 men in the box there. Pierre, Kane and Tanguy. Sonny at the back on his own. Brian Hill showing good skill, dribbling and power and pace. He took on his man, took him left, took him right, completely undone him. Went past him into the penalty area. Great to see Hill on the left. He's left-footed. Conte needs to play him on the left, not the right. Hopefully Conte will keep him on the left now. And once Hill is in this kind of form, he's unstoppable. He gets past his man, squares it to Lo Celso. Lo Celso with a first-time shot, working Kepa, and Tanguy and Kane doing the right thing, following up for a tap-in. Brilliant from Spurs this. One of our best moves of the game, and another shot on target. However, we couldn't get past the keeper. And here you can see that cross from Emerson going into Moura. Emerson hopefully working on his crossing in training, and Heung-min Son would have been the man to find. He was on his own and he definitely would have had a shot on target. But the second half was more Tottenham, more balanced, and Spurs having a couple of shouts at getting a goal. However, Chelsea were on the counter, and you can see here Werner with a driving run. Passes it into Lukaku, who turns and feeds Ziyech. Poor marking from Sanchez and Davis. Davis should be on Ziyech. Sanchez should be on Lukaku. Tanganga on his own. Poor organisation and communication from the Tottenham defence. And you can see here Sanchez and Davis completely in no man's land. And Ziyech having time and space to take his shot. This really should have been 3-0. But Ziyech with a tame shot and Lloris making the save. Tottenham living again and keeping this tie alive just about. Let's look at the fixtures. We have Morecambe on Sunday away. Morecambe at home on Sunday. That should be a straightforward win for Spurs. We then have the Chelsea home tie for the semi-final. Hopefully Spurs can learn from their mistakes in the first leg and we can really get those goals in early. We then invite Arsenal home and then away to Leicester. And we can see here Morecambe, we play on Sunday in the FA Cup. They are in League One, struggling in a relegation battle, really struggling to put any points on the board. However, recently they did win their last game against Doncaster, so they do have a bit of confidence. 4-3 against Doncaster. And let's look at the players that Morecambe have that are threatening going forward. Cole, Stockton and Adam Phillips are the 2 danger men. Especially Stockton, he's got all the assists and goals, and Adam Phillips there chipping in with both also. Injuries and suspensions. Heung-min Son is unfortunately injured till Feb. We will really miss him. Conte will have to find a way to win without Son. He's been a key player. Bergwijn slowly getting back. Really miss him on the right hand side, and Romero should be back for February as well. There you have it, your insight. What did you think of the Spurs first half display? Did Conte get it wrong? Does he take some blame for the 4-3-3? In the second half, who were your men of the match? Tanguy played well, Brian Hill and Lo Celso making a difference. Spurs have options off the bench, and hopefully Conte will use more of his players now, rotate the squad, give them a bit of a rest. But where did you think Spurs went wrong? Can we win the second tie? Let me know your thoughts. Share, like and subscribe. Come on you Spurs.